So good morning one and all. So in the last class we have started with the basic digital modulation techniques. So there are three different kinds, namely amplitude shift keying, ASK, FSK and PSK. Just like AM, FM and PM in case of analog modulations. Now in the last class we have started with PSK, that is BPSK. BPSK means binary phase shift keying. Binary means we transmit only two signals, two bits. They are 0 or 1. Binary means we transmit only two bits. They are 0 or 1. Okay. So we call here m equal to 2, which means binary case. So last class we have started with BPSK, means binary phase shift keying. So before that, we have shown the basic schematic of the channel. Okay, so what we transmit in binary case, S1 of t, S2 of t. What are they? They are the modulated signals. Suppose 0 or 1 we are transmitting. So if you modulate them, they become, so let me take S1 of t or S2 of t. They are the modulated waveforms, corresponds to 0 and 1. They could be reverse also, just naming is different, right? Now, so what will happen? So after modulation, we transmit over a channel. Obviously, the channel will add some disturbance, that is W of t. We are calling W of t as a white noise. Now we are transmitting S1 or S2 of t, and obviously what we receive is X of t. X of t is what? S1 of t plus W of t or S2 of t plus W of t. It depends upon which symbol is transmitted. If symbol 0 is transmitted, obviously X of t is what? S1 of t plus some noise. If symbol 1 is transmitted, what is X of t? S2 of t plus some noise, W of t. Okay. So same thing is being written here. Yes. So here one thing I told you, all these waveforms are defined only for a TB duration. Let me write here, S1 of t and S2 of t are defined only a TB duration. TB means bit duration. Okay, that is very important. Yeah. So they have energies, they are energy signals. Okay, they are energy signals, which means they have energies. Obviously it has got energy E1, its energy is E2. In binary case, we transmit only two bits, that's why two energies, E1, E2. Okay. So what is EB? It is a energy per bit or average energy per bit. How to calculate this? E1 into probability of occurrence of 1 plus E2 into the probability of occurrence of 0. Now, anyway, we have started with BPSK, where we transmit two signals. They have with a phase difference of pi radians or 180 degrees. Okay. So for symbol 1, we are transmitting S1 of t. This is a waveform. Symbol 2, symbol 0, we are transmitting S2 of t with a phase shift of pi radians. So obviously, if there is a phase shift of pi radians, the waveform become negative of the previous waveform. So now they have a negative of each other. Now these are all things I explained in the last class. Now these are all things. Yeah. So what happened here? So I told you in the last classes we have something called signal vectors, SI. It has got elements SI1, SI2, so on, SIN. This is a column matrix or simply called as a vector whose order is n cross 1. Okay. Now in BPSK, what is n value? N equal to 1. We are transmitting two symbols or two bits. Here symbol is same as bit. Why? Because in a symbol there is only one bit. Please make note of this. Generally m will be equal to 2 power n. What is n? n is number of bits in a symbol. Number of bits in a symbol. If there is only one bit in a symbol, obviously m equal to 2. If there are 2 bits in a symbol, m equal to 4. What are those 2 bits? Combination 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. If there are 3 bits in a symbol, you get m equal to 8. So if there are 2 bits in a symbol, 4 distinct combinations are possible. If there are 3 bits in a symbol, 8 distinct combinations are possible. So you know all these things already. So but we restrict ourselves to only binary case in our course. Okay. So m equal to n equal to 1. Small n equal to 1. Don't get confused with the small n, capital N. What is capital N? That is nothing but a number of basis functions that are required. Small n is number of bits in a symbol. Okay. So they are different. Anyway, how to identify the value of capital N? It depends upon the linear independency. I explained the concept while discussing the Gram-Smith orthogonalization procedure. So if you did not get it, just go and check one more time. Okay. Now because here the two waveforms are depend on each other. Why? Because they are just what is S2 of t minus S1 of t. That's why they are dependent. Which means if you know one waveform, you can draw another waveform. As simple as that, right? So that's why only one is independent. Remaining one is dependent, obviously. So that's why n equal to 1. But m equal to 2. Now it also satisfies the basic idea that is m will be always greater than or equal to n. This is also very, very important. Okay, now, so without wasting much time, so now this is S1 of t, S2 of t. What is phi 1 of t? Root 2 by tb cos omega ct or 2 pi f ct. It has to have unit energy because it is a basis function. The basis function should be orthonormal, which means they should be mutually orthogonal as well as they should have unit energies. Okay. Now if you go with this, S11 is root EB, S21 is minus root EB. Okay. Now here what happens is the signal vectors are simply having only one element. Why? Because here n equal to 1, 1 cross 1, which means a vector becomes a point. Are you getting my point? Here S1 is simply a point S11 because here m equal to 2, n equal to 1. If n equal to 1 in this vector, what is that? This is only possible Si1. So S1 is S11. S2 is what? Signal vector S2. Obviously, it is also S21. Only one point is there in the vector. So it is not a vector, it is just a point. Okay. So this is for corresponding to M1. I mean, this corresponds to M2. Just like that. Okay. M1 can be 0 or 1. M2 can be 0 or 1. Okay. Now, so here, so we got the signal vectors. What are these two? Vectors. They happen to be points. That's it. They are vectors actually. Okay. Now, so the vectors are having only one element in each of these things. So obviously they are just points. Now, so if you know the vectors, what you can do? You can draw the constellation or signal space. What you can draw? You can draw the constellation or signal space diagram. What is the dimensionality of that? N dimensional, which means here it is a one dimensional. What is the one dimensional diagram mean? Just a line, right? It could be any line. A line whose name is phi 1. What is the phi 1? It is a basis function. Okay. Now you have to point, you have to draw, you have to identify the two signal or message points. What are they? S11. Okay. How much is S11? Yeah. S11 is root EB. S21 is minus root EB. Okay. So simply S11 is, this is root EB. This is root EB. This is minus root EB. Okay. Okay, how you got this root EB minus root EB? You go to the expansion. S I of t equal to summation j equal to 1 to n Sij phi j of t, all those things. Okay, I am not getting into details. You go and check. Okay, now so you just point them. So this is root EB, this is minus root EB. They are symmetric about what? Origin. This is 0. This is a constellation. It is a one-dimensional constellation on a point, on a line, just like that. So this is S1, this is S2. This is S1, the message point or signal point. It is another signal point. Now what is the symbol? So for S1, what is the symbol? I mean, what is the bit? For S1, what you identified? Yeah, let me go back here. Yeah. For S1, message point 1. Okay, means symbol 1. Okay, it is for symbol 1. It is for symbol 0. Be careful. Okay, this is called constellation of what technique? BPSK. What a dimensionality? 1D. One dimensional. Only because it has got only one basis function. Is it okay? That's it. Now, so from this diagram, what you can find out? What you can find out? So what is the distance between D12? D12 means distance between message point 1 and 2. Okay. What is the distance between these two message points? What they are called? They are message points or signal points. Okay. So what is the distance between these two? How much is the distance between these two? Root EB minus root EB. That is 2 times root EB. Okay. It is also denoted with norm square. I explained everything. The distance between S1 and S2 is called as like this. Norm S1 minus S2 whole square, that is same as distance between these two message points, that is same as 2 times of root EB. This is very, very important. Okay. Now so here I have shown the diagrams for BPSK. Yeah, this is the best one. What is the best one? Let me, okay, right. So if you look at the BPSK carefully, we have two waveforms, S1 of t and S2 of t. These are modulated waveforms. After modulation, you get these two waveforms, but they are exactly negative of each other, which means S2 of t is negative of S1 of t, minus of S1 of t. That's it. Okay, which means whenever there is a change in the bit, there is a change in the sign of the waveform. If 1 becomes 0 or 0 becomes 1, obviously there is a negativity in the waveform. Okay, that is simple logic. Right. So what happens here? 1 means you got a waveform. Is it okay? 0 means it should be negative of the previous waveform, which means something like this. Okay, so let me draw here if you want. Here, suppose 1 means S1 of t. So let me take like this. So some sine waveform. For example, I am taking sine waveform. Okay, this is sine. It is for 1. If symbol is 0, obviously it should be negative of the sine waveform. What is the negative? It's a negative of this waveform. Something like this. It is for 0. Okay. Again, suppose it is again 0. What happens? 0 means negative of the sign. This is for again 0. Suppose again it is 1. Let me take again 1. 1 means sign, positive sign. Okay. So whenever there is a shift in the bit, there is change in the phase. Okay, phase changes whenever there is a change in the bit. That is the only simple logic here. So there is no change in the bit. That's why there is no change in the phase. Is it clear? Whenever there is change in the bit, the phase changes by 180 degrees or the waveform changes its sign. Positive becomes negative or negative becomes positive, whatever it is. Okay. So you can, I have shown you so many waveforms. This is a MATLAB output. Yeah, you can, this is the one more example. This is example. Yeah. So this is, yeah, you can clearly see it here. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, so let us go to the transmitter of BPSK. Transmitter means how to generate BPSK. Okay. First of all, what is happening here? So let me go back here. So for symbol S1, yeah, for symbol 1, S1 of t, that is root EB. Okay, let me go a little bit further, little bit starting. Okay, yes, yeah. S1 of t, a cos omega ct, S2 of t minus a cos omega ct for symbol 0. Okay, let me write here this. S1 of t I got as a cos omega ct for symbol 1. Okay. S2 of t is obviously negative of this. Minus a cos omega ct for symbol 0. Is it okay? Am I clear? Yes. Okay. So, how to generate these waveforms? I mean, transmitter means modulator. As simple as that, right? How to generate these two waveforms? Okay, what is the common? Common is a cos omega ct. Okay, to be precise, what is a? What is the amplitude of this? Root 2EB by TB. Okay, so to be precise, let me write everything clearly. So to be precise, S1 of t is root EB phi 1 of t and S2 of t is minus root EB phi 1 of t. It is for symbol 1, it is for symbol 0. This is what you have to generate. I hope you are okay with this. Now, what is the common thing is phi 1 of t. Correct? What is changing? It is plus root EB or minus root EB. That is only the logic. It is plus root EB whenever symbol is 1. It is minus root EB when symbol is 0. Which means, yeah, you're just multiplying two things. Okay? What are they? So here, the line code. What should be the line code? It should be a polar. Why? Because I told you, here we use two types of line codes, polar and on-off. On-off means 1 means 1, 0 means 0. Polar means 1 means 1, 0 means minus 1. Negativity. Obviously, we use a polar line code. What is that? 1 means 1, 0 means minus 1. Something like this. Okay, polar line code, which means 1, 0, 1. What it is called? Polar NRZ. NRZ means non-return to 0. Okay. Now, not only that, but here, so what is energy? Root EB. So, when symbol is 1, we need a plus root EB. When symbol is 0 or bit is 0, we need a minus root EB, which means, so these should have an amplitude of root EB and this should be minus root EB. That's it. We should generate a code that is polar NRZ in form with energies root EB for symbol 1 or bit 1 minus root EB for bit 0. That's it. Now, simply, what is happening here? So, we are multiplying that with phi 1 of t. That's it. Okay, let me draw this very clearly here. Just 1, let us take 0, let us take again 1. Let me take like this. It is root EB because it is 1. It is minus root EB. Again it is root EB because it is 1. What are the corresponding symbols? Symbol 1 or bit 1 or symbol 1. Both are same here. 0, 1. Now this is data. This is data that we are modulating. We are modulating 1 0 1, one after another. Okay, this is time axis. Now how to generate S1 of t, S2 of t? These should be multiplied with what? What is the common thing? Phi 1 of t. What is phi 1 of t? A basis function which is also defined from 0 less than t less than tb. Defined only for bit duration. Obviously, what is the output? When symbol is 1, the output is, yeah, this is the modulated thing, but let me write here. So root EB multiplied with phi 1 of t. Here minus root EB multiply with phi 1 of t. Again here plus root EB multiply with phi 1 of t. So on so on. More or less we are multiplying our data with a carrier. This is something like message signal. Okay, you can call this something like a message signal. We are multiplying that with a carrier. What is a carrier? Something like a basis function. How it is defined? Root 2 by TB cos omega ct. So it is just like the basic modulation. Take a message signal, multiply with carrier. But here message signal is digital in form, not the analog form. Is it okay? So in AM, all those things, message was a sine wave or cos wave. But here message is a digital waveform. Is it okay? It's a digital data. Here message signal is a digital signal. Okay, that's it. Just like that. Okay. Now, so here this is a transmitter where, yeah. So first we have taken encoding, signal encoding. So we are converting data into a polar form. Data can be represented in so many ways. I told you last time. So data can be represented in on-off signaling or polar, or so many things are there. Okay, but we have to specify what type of signaling we are using. Line code, that is called line code. This is what you get. This is your message signal. That is being multiplied with phi 1 of t, just like carrier. You get BPSK. Okay, this is a generation of BPSK. Take the data, convert it into the polar form, multiply with the basis function. You get the S1 of t, S2 of t. Depend upon bit symbol is or bit is transmitted. Okay. If you are transmitting all ones, you get all S1 of these. If you are transmitting all zeros, you get all S2 of these. Okay. So in that case, there is no change of phase. Phase change occurs when there is a change in the bit. That is very, very important. Right. Yeah. So next thing is correlator. So you must know what is a correlator. That is very, very important. It is correlator, also called as product modulator. Okay. Now till now, so after this we have done with the transmission part. We have transmitted. We have generated the modulated waveforms S1 of t, S2 of t. Now we are transmit over a channel. Okay. Now let's get back to the receiver side. Okay. Okay. So for understanding, so let me explain this. Yeah. Here, so we have done with this part. Okay. Let me. Yes. Okay. So till now, what have you done? So we have taken the source. Okay. So we got MI. MI means data 0 1, sequence of zeros and ones. Signal encoder, which means we have used polar NRZ. We got SI. Okay. Now after that we have taken modulation. We got SI of t. Okay. Now so we are transmit over a channel. Now what you receive? X of t. Okay. Now we have to talk about this receiver first. Receiver contains two parts. That is detector and followed by decoder. Is it okay? Now we'll discuss one by one. Now as of now, so what you have done? We got, in our case, since it is a binary, we got S1 of t and S2 of t. We have transmitted over a channel. Now what you received? At the receiver side, x of t. X of t is a received signal. Okay, right. So let's get back to our discussion of correlator. Okay, what's a correlator? So first of all, what are you receiving at the receiver side? Be careful. X of t. What is x of t? It is SI of t plus W of t. What is W of t? It is a white Gaussian noise with a mean 0 and with a variance sigma square. That we'll discuss later, but x of t. Now again we multiply x of t with phi 1 of t. Okay, so let us make it generalization. Generally, I will talk in general first of all. In general means phi j of t. Is it okay? No. So if you remember properly, what is demodulation? Take the modulated signal, again multiply with the carrier. We are doing same thing here. Okay, I am taking the corrupted version of the modulated signal. Obviously, when you transmit over a channel, that will be corrupted with noise. Okay, x of t. That is again multiplied with the carrier. Here, what is the carrier? Basis function. As simple as that. Okay, but after that we do some filtering, some kind of filtering. So here, what we do is, here we use a integrator. We integrate the product output from 0 to TB. We integrate. Now what you get here is xj. What you get here is xj. Okay. Now, so what are we doing here? First of all, what are we doing? We are taking x of t and multiply with the basis function phi j of t, and we are taking integration over a bit duration. This is called as xj. I hope I told you these things already. Okay, this is called, what is the name of this? Is a product and integrator. It is making the product of two things and later it is integrating. It's a product integrator or correlator. It's also called as correlator. It is very, very, very important. Okay, what it is called as correlator or product integrator. This is called a correlator or product integrator. So input to the correlator is x of t, output is xj. Okay, now here, yes, so input to the correlator is a received signal x of t, that is SI of t plus W of t, where W of t is a AWG noise with 0 mean and with a power spectral density N0 by 2. So let me write here. This is very, very important. W of t is a AWG noise with mean 0. W bar means mean 0 with a power spectral density, that is N0 by 2. That is a uniform power spectral density. Okay, I hope I told you these things already in the PTSP course. How it will be, how the PSD will be if it is AWG noise. This is something like this, N0 by 2. It is a power spectral density of the additive white Gaussian noise. Okay, so it has got 0 mean and power spectral density N0 by 2. Yes. Now, so as I told you, here we have detector now. Here we have detector. In the receiver part, what the first thing is detector. What is the detector? Detector is a bank of n such correlators. What is detector? It's a bank of n such correlators. Bank means collection, no? Yes. So detector means bank of n such correlators. It is a detector. It is the first part of the receiver. Okay. So input to the detector is x of t. Output is a vector. Please remember x is a vector now. Why? Because now we have n such correlators or product integrators. What is that? X of t, phi 1 of t integration. X1, you get x1. you get x2, you get so on so on xn. What is the vector x? Is called received vector, or it is also called observation vector. What are its elements? What are elements? x1, x2, so on so on xn. I am talking in general. Okay, I am not talking in case of BPSK. I am talking in general, because here n is the number of basis functions. Okay, that's why I taken n basis functions. Where are they? First basis function, second, so on so on, nth basis function. This is a bank of n correlators. We have a n correlators as a bank. The first correlator, second correlator, third correlator, so on so on. I mean nth correlator. Each correlator's output is x1, x2, so on so on xn. Is it okay? Now input to the each correlator is same, that is x of t, but output is different. Okay, it is called detector or bank of n correlators. Now what will happen here? What is xj? I told you xj is output of the nth correlator, that is 0 to tb x of t phi j of t dt. But what is x of t? It is si of t plus w of t. Okay, so what is x of t? Si of t plus w of t phi j of dt. Now if you do separate integration 0 to tb or t, no problem. Si of t plus phi j of t dt plus 0 to t w of t plus phi j of t dt. What is this? Si of t phi j of t dt is called Sij. What are they called? The coefficients of expansion. Wj. This is called Wj. It's called Wj. It's called noise sample. Okay. Now here, so what I want to write here is, since x of t is Si of t plus w of t into phi j of t dt. If you integrate over this, integration over this, what do you get? Si of t phi j of t dt, that is Sij, plus w of t phi j of t dt integration, that is Wj. This is xj. Okay, it is something like this. It is signal part, it is a noise part. Output of the correlator is got a signal portion as well as a noise portion. W is called noise sample. It depends upon noise. Sij you know already, that is a constant which is called as a coefficients of expansion. Yes, okay, you know already. So the power spectral density, PSD and ACF are Fourier transform pairs. What is a PSD? Here n0 by 2. This is in the frequency domain. Okay, what is the inverse Fourier transform of this? I told you in case of PTSP course. What is that? A impulse with a strength n0 by 2 delta of t. But since it is a wide sense stationary random process, so what do you write? The autocorrelation function is a function of tau. That's why that is n0 by 2 delta of tau. Here you can write tau. Instead of t, you can write tau. This is tau equal to 0. Is it okay? T minus your tau. Nothing but, yeah. So let me write here clearly. If you want, you can go through the PTSP course. This is the PSD of the noise, which is uniform PSD, n0 by 2. If you take inverse Fourier transform, you get the autocorrelation function. That is impulse with the strength n0 by 2 at tau equal to 0. I mean this is delta of tau. Let me write here n by 2. Here you should write delta of tau. This is PSD, this is ACF. Since it is a wide stationary random noise, it should be a function of tau. Tau is the difference, time difference. Obviously, what you can write? RW of tau. That is ACF. That is n0 by 2 delta of tau. This is the auto correlation function of the noise process. Here noise is a wide stationary random process. That's why the ACF depends upon the shift in the time. Okay. Now, so since it is a zero mean, W of t is a zero mean. Okay. So that what are the variance now? What are the variance? Find out. What are the variance of noise? What is that? It should be same as power spectral density. You think about it. Okay. Now, so here, so let us get into the analysis of the correlator outputs. Now we got, for the correlator, we got vector x. Input is x of t, output is vector x. X is got n elements, x1, x2, so on, xn. But each and every element is random. Why it is random? Can you tell me? Because x1 is Si1 plus W1. Okay. X2 is Si2 plus W2. Okay, so on, so on. Xn is Sin plus W of n. Is it okay? So if W1 is a random variable, it is also a random variable. Is it okay? Now, here, can you tell me, all are these are some constants. Si1, Si2, Sn, they are constant. They are the coefficients of expansions. Something like root dB, minus root dB, so on, so on. Now, what is the mean of x1? Can you tell me? Anyone? What is the mean of x1? So, x1 is a constant with some random variable. x1 is Si1 plus W1. What is the mean of x1? That is Si1 plus W1. If I write bar means mean. Okay. Obviously, Si1 is a constant. That is simply Si1 plus mean of W1. What is the mean of W1? 0. Because I told you W of t is a zero mean random process. So, mean of this is Si1. Okay. So, mean of x1 is simply Si1. Obviously, mean of x2 is Si2. In general, mean of xj is Sij. Sij. It is a conditional mean. Please remember, here mean is not constant. I mean, it is not defined properly. Why? Because to find out mean, you should know I value. How much is I value? That you should know. Okay. It is called a conditional mean. It depends upon what is symbol is transmitted or what bit is transmitted. Okay. Now, so if you think properly, the vector x has got n elements. Each element's mean is different. What is the mean of x1? Si1. Mean of x2? Si2. Mean of xn? Sin. Okay. Right. Not only that, you have to find out the variance. Okay. Tell me, what is the variance of x1? First element of the signal vector x. What is the variance of x1? Find out. Mean is SI1. What is the variance of x1? So, I am not going through all these calculations, but mean of x1 is, sorry, the variance of x1 is n0 by 2. The variance of x2 also equal to n0 by 2. So, the variance of all the elements of vector x are same, that is n0 by 2. You just remember this. I am not going into the details of the calculations because they are not required. Just remember this. What I want to say is, so the vector x has got n elements and they have different means. The means are different. They are conditional in nature, which means the mean of x1 is what? SI1. But what is the variance of that? n0 by 2. Mean of x2 is SI2. But the variance is same, n0 by 2. So on, so on. So all the elements has got different means, but the variance of all the elements is same. That is n0 by 2. That is same as the power spectral density of the noise. Okay, that is a simple thing you have to remember. Now here we also found out the covariance. So we have found out the covariance of xk something like this. It happened to be 0 for for k not equal to L. So you know how to find out covariance. Okay, I explained all these things later in the previous course only. How to find covariance? You just find out these things. I am not getting the details. Okay, if you want you can go through this. Now the covariance is 0, which means they are uncorrelated, which means they are by default they are independent. Okay, so statistical independent. They are statistical independent. It is very important. All the elements of vector x are random variables with a mean, different means and same variance, that is n0 by 2, and they are also statistical independent, which means x1 is independent of remaining elements, x2 is independent of all other elements, so on so on. All these elements are independent of each other. They are random variables. They are Gaussian random variables with different means and same variance, and they are statistical independent. That is about vector x. Okay, you remember that point. That's enough. Yes, here I told you. Okay, so the vector x has got n elements which are Gaussian random variables. Why they are Gaussian random variables? Obviously, noise is a Gaussian random variable, and to the noise something is added. Some constant is added. Obviously, x1, x2 all are Gaussian random variables. So the mean is different for different variables, that is Sij, and they have same variance and they are statistically independent. And this vector x is called observation vectors or received vector. Elements are called observation elements. Okay, they are very important. So don't get confused. Okay, so if I want to explain everything in the simple terms, first of all we are transmitting ones and zeros, only ones and zeros, sequence of ones and zeros. So they have to be converted into the waveform first of all. Okay, we are using a polar waveform. We get a data now, digital data, something like this. This is a data, this is a waveform for the data. This is a message signal now. Now to modulate the message signal, we are multiplying it with the carrier. What are you doing? We are multiplying with a carrier. What is the carrier? 5.5t. This modulation is over. We are modulating. This is about modulation. Up to this modulation. Obviously, we transmit over a channel. Channel will add some noise. We are calling WFT. It is a zero mean Gaussian AWG noise simply. What you are receiving is X of t. X of t is a corrupted version of the message signal, obviously. But X of t is given to the receiver. Receiver has got two portions. One is detector and decoder. So if you look at the detector is taking X of t as an input and generating a vector X. It has got n correlators. Now this vector X is a n element vector as a column vector x1 so on xn. Now these are again random variables, Gaussian random variables. They have different means, same variants, they are statistical independent. Up to this is clear? Right. Now next we have to discuss decoder. Okay, that is the last part of the receiver. Okay, before that, yeah. So just now I have written, somewhere here I have written x1, yes, okay. x1 is si1 plus w1, si2, this is, okay. Where is x2 I have written? Like this. Now, here I can write this as, what is this part? Is x bar. Is it okay? What is this part? If you remember everything properly, what are these? Si1, si2, sin. They are the elements of the signal vector si. Not x bar, I am sorry. Only x, capital X. Equal to, this is si plus this is w. X is a vector which is sum of two other vectors. This is signal vector and noise vector. So received signal vector is a sum of signal vector plus noise vector. Received vector, signal vector, noise vector. Just a mathematical way of writing, nothing more than that. Okay, that is not important. You can always write this as, yeah, everything is written in a simple slide. N number of basis functions, transmitted signal vector, received signal vector or observation vector, noise vector. Okay, you can also represent everything in a constellation. So finally, where are we now? Now, here I can say that the received vector is written as si plus w. Okay, this is the received vector or observation vector. This is the signal vector. This is the noise vector. Obviously, received signal is transmitted signal plus noise, as simple as that. Okay, nothing more than that. So we can able to represent everything in a constellation. Okay, if you want, you can represent all these vectors in a constellation. Is it okay? Right? So that is about the okay, so we stop here up to this. Next we have to discuss the last portion of the receiver, that is a decoder, that is called ML decoder. Okay, that will be discussed in the next class. Thank you.